All right, welcome back. Here we are at the 10:45 a.m. turn, and this is interesting. This is the first turn the Confederates have not gotten any reinforcements coming. Uh, they're pretty much, as I've been looking at the. I mean, there's not much they can do. They all this stuff is just sitting back here. They're in the Recon in force still. Which means in this game it's a little scripted, which is fine. We've talked about this in the beginning. For those of you that don't know, it just keeps the Confederates from running over this little bit of Union stuff, since they didn't know that they would have had all that open ground, right? So Jeb Stuart's not around. Lee doesn't know really what's going on yet. He's not on the battlefield or really that close to it. You know, Heath is kind of left doing his own thing with Archer, getting into a brawl. So that's where we're at. Now, we'll go through the turn sequence, but just some interesting observations, since this is the important part. We got our first. Why do I have trouble remembering what it is? Where is it? Wrecked. I don't know. The W is there, but I don't think wrecked. So anyway, we got our first wrecked unit, which that's not good. He's basically not going to do anything. This guy, I think, he's one away from getting wrecked. He's one away from getting wrecked. I think this guy was. Yep. This is the only guy that's not. And then we got this clown who's got some awesome stellar regiments who will be pushing the attack, but Lord only knows at what speed. So let's go ahead and work on this stuff back here. Well, let's do the sequence of play, just because I've been playing this on and off. Here's the other thing, though. Okay, like I was talking to a buddy of mine, Jeff with Hex to Hex, and a long time ago when I started my channel, I thought I'd call myself the ADD gamer. But I didn't, because with this day and age, you just don't know who you're going to offend. And of course, I'm not mocking people with ADD. I feel like I kind of deal with that myself. But gamers, man, do we get distracted, right? So I'm not mocking that. I'm just saying that's a thing, right, with gamers. Like, and the reason I say that is because until this game, I'd kind of avoided MMP games, because way back when I was really young, I got Embrace an Angry Wind. And all the concepts were really foreign. This is before the internet. And it was just something I couldn't figure out. And so that prejudiced me against the games. I just thought, no, they don't use strength point counters. What's this A-B stuff? Written orders, all that stuff, right? It was just too foreign. So then a friend of mine, Clay, sent me this game. And I just don't have a space to set it up, so I like to use Vassal for it right now. And I love it. I think it's fascinating. I love Great Battles of the American Civil War. That's another series I love. To me, that's a little more crunchy on the combat side and stuff. But that's not a good or bad on either one. It's just they're different. The random activation's different. I love the written orders on this. It's a fun way to play, especially if you can do like I'm doing and find a couple of buddies just to do the orders, send orders to you based on troop positions, and then you play it out solo. If you haven't done that, I highly recommend that. But anyway, then now, so some people bought a game from my store. They returned it to me and said it was missing pieces. It was not. They'd actually punched out a row of pieces and kept one of them or whatever. Or they lost it and it was too complicated for them and they threw it all back in the box. Whatever. I thought, well, I'll just keep it. I don't have anything on North Africa, and I'll give it a try. That was Baptism by Fire, which is by MMP. And now I'm watching people play the Battle of the Bulge game of that, and I'm like, okay, that system looks like a lot of fun. So anyway, I get a little off topic there, but so I've been watching videos on that by, I think it's the Tabletop's Edge. He does some great videos if you get to watch those. Um, but anyway, I'll get back on topic because maybe if you're watching, you care less about World War II games up. But it's really easy to see stuff and go, oh, I want to do that. Oh, I got to try that. Now that's the beauty of Vassal is I can have 50 games going if I want. That's kind of how I am when I play. I kind of get in the mood for something and I play, and then I kind of need a break, right? I need something else. But then I want to come back and finish it. So doing video series, I try to do it a little bit, try to finish them a little bit more or be a little more consistent. Blah, 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 blah. So sorry about all that rambling. That was free. That was a little sidetrack for free. A couple things. Just make sure if you like the channel, hit subscribe. Comment if I'm doing stuff wrong. Let me know. I'm still learning. This is the first time I played this series. I think it's phenomenal. Okay, so command phase. Orders. We aren't allowed to give orders. All the orders are in the reinforcement track and what they're allowed to do. So there's no attack recovery or no fluke stoppage for the Confederates. The Union, on the other hand, does have to roll for that now, like we did last phase. So we're at the activity phase. Okay, so let's go. I'm going to zoom out for this because it's a little easier when you're moving far away. So basically, Pender's forces are going to be basically getting behind this Ridge Road, right? That's all they can really do. And it says they're supposed to straddle the Chambersburg Pike right here. So we got two brigades on that side, two brigades on this side. So his division is doing that. We got Heath's division up here. Oh my goodness, I forgot to move Heath and I'm out of command. Oh, am I out of command here too? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I got lucky there. I might have to pause the thing and look up being out of command. Not that that's going to matter that much because Archer is going to have to regroup. Brockenbrough and Pettigrew, they're in the same boat. They can only go 4 X's past this road. So they would look menacing, right? So if these northern guys back here on the Seminary Ridge area and the Schultz Woods would be like, oh my goodness, look at all those Confederates, but they're just sitting there. So let's move up. I haven't been shooting artillery because it's super long ranges. You're probably not going to do anything. You might get lucky with a morale check or something, but right now there's no ammo trains for either side on the board. So if they run out, they're out. You know, Caleb's battery's been having trouble with that since early in the game. One of his sections ran out. So anyway, we're going to leave Perrin here. So let's go move these dudes. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit for moving them since they're just moving the 6. So here we got Scales. We also got this artillery, which is supposed to move up to 16, 13, I believe. It's McIntosh. He's under Order 5. And I can't give him any order. Yep, so you got to move up to 16, 13. So right here. So he's going to basically pull up his artillery here and just sit until a certain order. So these guys can get up a little bit closer. So let's work on that. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now these guys are out of command. Let's see if I can find it real quick. If I can't, I'll have to pause it. 10.2. And radius. Okay, the player cannot order formations out of command radius. Game-specific rules may violate this as needed, especially as where reinforcements are concerned. In the case where the designer does this to you, any orders affecting the command to which these are out of radius formation belong must be relayed to those formations. Just so it's clear, no subordinate command is required to be within the Army HQ command radius. That radius is merely for delivery of orders. So basically, just can't. The player cannot order formations out of command. Note that the momentary ability to run out of command radius during movement does not constitute being ordered out of radius. So they can't be given commands. They're there anyway, right? So they're pretty much at their objective. So we'll let them sit until these guys get caught up, which I probably was planning that, but it's been a couple days since I've worked on the file. So let's move Scales. So he's in command. So we're just going to get him moved up here. So let's work on his. See if we can get him up here past these swamps eventually. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I think. No, those are only 1. So that'd be 7, but that's fine. That's all the further he's going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because he's an open order unit that has 8 movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we'll get them shaken out here in a minute. Next turn. We don't have to move everyone in the brigade. You're not restricted to that. So before we forget, let's move McIntosh and his guys up to here. And just, what do we got there? Oh, I got 2 guys together. Let's, I'm learning the shortcut keys on which way to turn. Okay, they can have 4 strength points in a column, so those 2 little sections of 2. As far as I know, that's where they have to sit. So there is going to be backup artillery for the second phase of the afternoon when Lee gets there and he starts issuing some orders. We took the restriction off because we are not playing with the General Reynolds dying right away. I call him the Reynolds, but with General Reynolds dying right, we're not doing that. So, okie doke, let's move these guys. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They get a little extra movement point. What is the movement in a swamp or marsh? Is still 2, so that's no big deal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll just put them there. They don't need to go any further than that. We will move Pender. Let's move Lane and see where he ends up at. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't want to do that. I want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so we can go there and then boom, everyone will be in line. We'll get Pender up here. Everyone's got to be within 8. Oh, where's Thomas at, I guess? I have to sit back here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, he's good. He's gonna move up to here. So all his dudes will be in command next turn. There's no one coming down the pipe this turn, which is weird because they've been just pouring in. So we got 2 of the divisions on here for what am I forgetting his name? Hill. And these guys are pretty much stuck here. They're within 4. This guy can move up a little bit, but I don't know what the point is. Same with Brockenbrough. I guess we'll try to move him a little. So let's roll for Brockenbrough. He can move half. So if you remember, there's a little bit of a problem. So he's going to move there. Boom, 2. So he can move 3 basically. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Oh, can they do that? 1, 2. Yeah, they're within 4. They have to stay within 4 of this road. All right, so he's out of command, or he's in command. He's out of command. So we can't issue any orders to them, but that doesn't mean he can't do his stuff. He's under orders. He just can't be issued any new orders. But I think he is going to need to kind of regroup a little bit. This is getting ugly. So he's going to do an about face, which is 1, 2, 3, and then another about face for 4. Because they just need to get out of the way here for a minute. And these guys are going to do the same thing. About face for 1, 2, and about face back for 3. These guys will stay here in case anybody moves. Because right now they can't see each other because of this ridge line. We need to regroup these guys a little bit. And we're going to see what the clown show does up here. I mean, come on, Davis. Get something. So just as a reminder... where is it? The rule of 0. A 1, no movement allowance. 2 through 3, half, which is 3, and otherwise full movement. And if you only get half movement, you can move 2 and still fire, I think is the rule. So let's roll for Davis. Oh, he gets full movement. A little too late, but he does get it. So let's zoom in for this because I've had requests to zoom in. And since we only are dealing with this little part of the map, I don't mind doing that. So let's take a look at these guys. So the red you can't come up out of, but this one it looks like you can come up out of that. They need to inflict some damage. If you go 1, 2, and then fire, but he's gonna be susceptible to opening volley. Same here. What can we do over here? 1. So if you move over here, your line of sight is basically anywhere on there, but he would have to be able to see back to here because of that little tiny blip. So they can move here and fire, and they're out of their range. Oh my goodness. Or we could get over here and charge them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we wouldn't be able to, because we go here for 1. We have to make a facing change for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we could do that and threaten that and try to turn it. All right, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, this guy, though, he has already turned. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then try to charge Kalos battery. Well, that would be good. Bad for Kalos battery. Okay, I think we're going to try to do that. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This will be a closing roll here for 5. So let's go look at the closing roll. And the thought there was a mono. Oh, yeah, frontal artillery with canisters, so that won't hurt us. 1, 2, 3. So we don't have a leader there, so we basically need a 4, 5, or 6. Always going into a rear hex though, so that makes it a +1. So it's a +1, so we just need basically a 3, 4, 5, 6. And they make it, so there's 1, 2, 3, so there's 5. And now we're going to charge this way. Now my understanding is I think artillery, might have to pause here for this one and look up the rule, because I think artillery, if I remember right, has an all-around field of fire. So let me pause, look that up. Okay, so we're back. I did look up some stuff, but there's one thing I noticed right after I quit recording, but I still looked it up because I can do it later. You have to charge into your frontal hex only. So he went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The best he can do right now is this. if you want to, and then charge next turn. But instead, he's going to do that, only because I don't know what these guys, I wouldn't know what these guys have. I do know what they have for orders, but they also have some orders too. But just, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, you know what? They're going to turn. So that's it. He moved 6. He moved more than half. He can't do anything else. So let's move these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I can either, I'm going to face this way for 6. And I think I'll do the same with this guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we have these 3 left. I'm just trying to decide. They're pretty good Bs. That guy's a C, but we got Davis on him. I don't know if losing Davis is all that bad of a deal because he's a 0-0 clown. He hasn't been good for us. 1, 2. He could move here and fire, but then they're going to have an opening volley against him. I could also try to move into contact. He gives no benefit, though. Yeah, he gives no benefit. He's a 0. Kind of wanted to use, if I turn 1, right? So then my arc would be here. Then I could go 2, 3, and fire. It's at a range of 3 hexes, though. That's going to be pretty meaningless fire. But we got to do it, right? We got to try to beat these guys up a little. We did a little damage to them, but they're big. They're big fellers. We got to get these guys beat up. I'm thinking maybe we ignore. Well, we can't ignore because 1, 2. I might as well move here and fire. So 1, 2, 3. It's not optimal to have your flank showing. They just come up there and blaze away, I suppose, but then they reveal their flank. We're going to do that. Okay, so we're going to do that. We're going to go 1, 2, 3. So Caleb's battery gets to do. We're going to fire from the 42nd Mississippi B is going to fire Caleb's battery. So let's just make a decision here and go with it. Okay, so opening volley. It is canister range, so it's going to shift. So it's at 2 hexes, and it shifts here because of the canister range. So a 4 through 6 will cause a hit. And wouldn't you know it, they get one. So we're going to decrease embedded strength. Now Davis has to roll for a casualty. Where's that at again? Is that under morale? There it is. So 2 through 10, he's fine. He is fine on a 2. I had to look 2d6. I thought I clicked the 1d6 for a second. All right, so back over to combat. We got 5 strength points. They bumped us down a column, so that's a bummer. We're 2 hexes away, so it's going to be 1 shift to the left, so we're in the 2 to 3 column. I think he's all rifle. Or no. Well, these guys are muskets. I got to remember that. So there's no other modifiers, right? The target isn't being shot through the rear, disorganized, projectile. So basically, we were in the 4 to 5. We dropped to the 2 to 3. We need a 7 or better to cause problems. An 8 is respectable. An 8 does a morale check. So if we go off the top unit, right? You got to go off the top unit. You know what? They're all C's. Okay. I got to remember the unit stacking because the top unit is what you go off. Although I typically don't like to stack because you need to spread out. All right, so it's a morale check for them. Morale check. C column. So here we go. 8 or higher is not good for them. Actually, they got a -1 for Caliph there. So they can, an 8 or less, they're golden. They get a 6, so nothing happens to them. Okay, well, it's looking a little dicey. I got these two dudes left. 1, 2, 3. I gotta get within 2 hexes. 1, 2. I could do a facing change here. I can't run these guys way over here because I need to. So let's look at that. What is that? Let's look at a little black, weird little dotted liney thing. I don't think is on here. It's not on there. Let's go look at the chart. I don't think that's on there anywhere. I don't think they have like some games will have like the map. This one here goes right to the edge and everything, I think. So okay, so let's go back up there. Okay, so I'm gonna say that doesn't affect movement because I don't see anywhere on here where they have that, because that's a town boundary. Elevation, maybe it's a little oversight, or railroad cut. So railroad cut right there. Do we have railroad cut? No, I'm gonna say it doesn't affect it then. Okay, so I'm thinking he goes 1, 2. We could go. That would if we just went 1, 2, 3. That's playing some dangerous pool there. We won't do that. But I'm thinking we'll do 1, 2, and a facing change for 3, and then fire. We never get that buck and ball. We need that buck and ball thing, right? It's a shift to the right if you can get within 1. 1, 2. Because I'm thinking he's just going to have to go 1, 2. And then blaze away at the artillery. If we move the third one, well, I guess either way they get their shift. We'll try to move into here. Let's do that. Let's go 1, 2. Let's make a closing roll for 3. So he's a B, so he's a 3 plus. No leader, no rear, not shaken. -1 for artillery with canister. So it's a 3 plus with a -1 on the die roll. And he fails, but he only moved 2, so now he could fire. Since he moved. Oh. Actually, what's going to happen is Caleb's battery is going to mount up and move away. I forgot that when artillery or cavalry, right? Or no, maybe it's only open order. That's not. I get that confused with Great Battles of the American Civil War. That's only open order. That's not artillery. In Great Battles of the American Civil War, if an enemy moves within, it's like 4 hexes, you can make a reaction move, like get out of there, turn facing. So I mixed that up because there's so much of that, because the cavalry does the same thing in Great Battles. So there is no reaction, so he's just going to blaze away with 3 strength points because the 2 are out of ammo. So 3 strength points. We're at 2 hexes, so that's not going to affect us. We do get the 1 shift to the left because we are normal canister, because if you look here, rifled cannon is normal. So we're at the 2 to 3, it moves to the 4 to 5. So a 6 or better causes problems for the 2nd Mississippi. Oh, a 9. So a 9, that's going to be a loss and a check. So decrease embedded strength. Morale check with a B. Let's go to morale. No problems here. So it's just a straight up B roll. So a 9 or higher is bad for them. A 2 would normally be a bloodlust, but that's only if checking a stack is adjacent to the unit that fired or charged it. So they are not bloodlusted. But now they get to fire back. So losing the strength point didn't hurt us because we're on the 4 to 5 column. We don't get our buck and ball. There's no other modifiers for that. But we do get the 1 column shift to the left for range of 2 hexes. So we need a 7 or better to cause a problem. A 10. That is going to cause a loss. And that's going to be on the top unit, which I believe is going to eliminate it. So I just want to see what happens if you decrease embedded strength. Yeah, it goes back to full strength. So that is going to go to the graveyard. Caliph is going to have to make a leader check. So it's just 2 to 10. There's no charging going on. So he's fine. And now they have to make a morale check on C with a -1. So C -1 is a 5, so they should be fine. So they are fine, but one of the batteries is knocked out, so they're down to 2 guns there. I can mark him fired. I don't know if that's going to matter since we're on the last thing, but I have to do the same with him, just trying to get good habits here, right? Let's see. Okay, so that leaves us this last dude with muskets. My, oh my. I'm not sure I even like to go over here, but I think we need to push the attack and hope for the best. So we're going to go 1, 2. Oh, yeah, I wanted to do a facing change here, I think, is what I wanted to do. So we'll go 3, right? Because he's protected here now. So he is going to fire at John Burns here in the 76th New York. But they get an opening volley because he moved. So combat, it's a range of 2. There's no other modifier, so 5 or 6. Nothing. Now they're going to fire. They start with a strength of 4 to 5, and they drop to the 2 to 3 because of range, and that's the only modifier. So 2 to 3. They need a 7 or better to cause a problem. They get a 7, which is a morale check. But they are a C unit, and they do get a -2 because Old Man Burns there blazing away. So it's the C column with a -2. So that's a 5, which either way they were safe. So nothing happened. So we just did morale checks. We did knock out a gun that had 1 gun left. I'm not sure that was a good exchange, but it does let us threaten this flank a little bit more. We'll see how that shakes out with the Union turn. You don't have to move. Like, I could change my mind. I haven't done anything with these. You don't have to do a brigade at a time, right? That's just me. I do need to get Heath up here, though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So he needs to move up to at least here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll move him to here. He's feeling pretty bold. So I could, move these guys and stuff, but I'm just going to leave them where they're at because he's hoping if they come up here, he gets an opening volley and maybe do 1 damage before he gets pummeled. He's wrecked, so he's no good. These guys just want to hide in the woods for a while. The only thing we got left in our punch is basically the 1st Tennessee for Archer. We're going to have to hope Davis. We're getting pretty close to having to just call this attack off of getting this. If Davis gets mauled up too much, they'll have to eventually call it off. We'll see what happens. Okay, so let's go look at the chart. It's because I tend to get excited, so let's do the stuff. So rally, I like to do remove the move markers. We don't have any CBF markers, so let's go do the remove fired. and USA Rally, or no, CSA Rally. So now these two guys are only shaken, which isn't great, but it's better than being disorganized. You don't have to make a roll going disorganized to shaken. I think you have to make a roll on the if you're routed. All right, so don't have to worry about any of that. I am going to want to look up some stuff on the Union turn before I do it. Let's go ahead and zoom out. So this really does look vicious, and if we were moving up to attack right now, we'd at least have Pettigrew would be up here supporting the attack. He can't do that because of the restrictions. We don't know if Brockenbrough, he might be the worst left flank in the history of gaming here with these two guys with 0-0s. So that's where we sit. That's the end of the Confederate 10:45 a.m. turn. I'll look up some stuff on the Union and come back, and we'll do the Union turn, which will be interesting because we got these columns coming. We got this one now with its orders. We got one general here. We got another column here. I don't know what the reinforcements are. I got to look that up, but what was looking like disaster early on, because I just thought, wow, the Confederates really can move pretty fast, but because of their, I think it's called at the double rule, where they can move 16 hexes until they deploy into line, that helps them get there on time, so we're doing okay. All right, anyway, I'll look up those rules, and then I'll get back to you on the next module. Thanks for watching. Okay, welcome back. We're going to start the Union term. I guess I say welcome back, but I'll probably merge these together. Not sure yet when I'll start doing the. Eventually, I'm going to break up the Confederate turn and the Union turn, but for now, I'm still doing it this way. So the Union this turn is getting some reinforcements down here. We got Robinson with Paul and Baxter coming in. They are allowed to at the double. I was going through some notes, and these guys can at the double. That's that. I think I called it forced march or something earlier. It doesn't matter when you're on the road. You're always at the doubling. But these guys, I looked up, it said Rowley and the Biddle's brigade are not allowed to at the double, which, again, isn't going to matter much because they're coming down this road. Okay, so let's go to the chart. We got command, so I do have to make a roll because Meredith has a courier show up to him. And, oh, wait a minute. I'll just re-roll 2d6. I'll roll one more. 3. He does not take his command. He's still going to wait. He gets there now. He looks at the courier. He's opened up the note. He's like, what are you talking about? I have these orders. So he's going to continue forward. Now he'll be able to shake out into a little bit of line because he's still in at the double and it's per unit, not for the whole brigade. So I think in this instance, I am going to work with Cutler first to see what he can do. What to do? Because he's under orders, so I have to decide how to act within those orders. We do have to roll because now they're not in recon and force, so they have to roll for a fluke stoppage. So I'm going to need to roll for him. We roll for Wadsworth. As you roll for the division. And so the only one that's rolling is Cutler because everybody else is in movement, so they don't have to roll for a fluke stoppage. So fluke stoppage, okay. Make no flukes in first day turns. We know that. Dice roll modifiers. -1 divisional leader wounded or killed. +2 command is no needed. We don't have the reserve. It's not a night turn. Base check 2 dice. You pass on a 6+. Oh my goodness, they're going into a fluke stoppage. Are you kidding me? So let's see. Base check 2 dice, pass on a 6+, otherwise roll 2 dice below. -1 at night. Make no second roll if you pass the base check. Oh, okay. So that's just rolling for a fluke stoppage. Let's see. Let's look up fluke stoppages real quick. It doesn't take me forever. I'll keep her rolling. Where's that at? Probably under orders. They don't have fluke stoppage as one of the table of contents things. All right, I'm going to pause here. Okay, so I had some questions I posted on Board Game Geek because I'm not sure what you do when. So you roll for the division on a fluke stoppage, right? Which would be Wadsworth, and Wadsworth is in charge of Cutler, Meredith, and some other guys coming up, I think. Maybe not. Anyway, he's for sure in charge of those two. But well, no, he's in charge of everyone in the first. Let's see, what is that? First Brigade, First Division, first. So that's First Division, First Corps. So everyone in the First Division. So 2-1, 1-1, or that's Iron Brigade 1, I think. Those are third. Anyway, doesn't matter. Here's my question, okay? Which I posted because I don't know what to do. So you roll for Wadsworth here, right? I rolled a 5. You need a 6 or better because he doesn't have anybody in support, right? Everyone is just getting up to the battlefield. So I'm like, okay, great. Now I got to make a fluke stoppage. So that's the first one you fail. Then you look at his leadership rating, which is a 2. So then I need an 8 or better to keep going. If you're a 4, you still only need a 6. So you got a pretty good chance of not failing. So here I rolled the 5. Then before I recorded, I rolled and I got an 8. But I did that because if I rolled a fluke stoppage, I got to find out what to do. So he didn't fluke stoppage, but I'm wondering, what do you do now? I know you give your orders to your divisions, but to me, this is a special case because you have one brigade that's fanning out and fighting with the Confederates, and you have reinforcements coming up, so they're all in a move order, right? So it'll be interesting to see what people say on that. I guess here's what I would have probably done, and I'll wait until I get an answer, but here's what I was thinking, is that these guys, if I would have fluke stoppage, they would have backed up, right? And Meredith would have been able to do his turn because you don't fluke stoppage in a move order. So that's what I would have done, but didn't have to worry about it because I got lucky and rolled the big old 8. So let's go back to this. That's all I have for order. And I already rolled for the Iron Brigade, and their order got there, but they haven't received it, so they're still under their original orders. Everybody else is under game orders. So we will go to the move activity phase, which is movement and combat. So kind of thinking with 2 string points, it's probably time just to mount up and get out of here. So Caleb's battery is going to do that. So he could mount up here. That would use up 3 of his movement. He would have 7 left. That is not. I think we'll probably do that. So let's mount these dudes up. Flip. And then when you're moving in column and stuff, you get to face change for free. So when we're done, we'll fix our... So that's 3. Oh, what is that? That's a... Better look at that. Don't want to assume distances. Trailer railroad is still going to be half. Okay, so 3, 4. Oops. Well, we'll move him there and then we'll follow. 4, 5. Let's see. 3, 4. Well, maybe we're just going to move to there and then we're going to unlimber. With that, we can put our facing whatever we pretty much want. Oops, only doing the one guy. So we're going to use him to defend this little flank here. Okay, so he's not much left there. We got 2 guns. It's going to depend on what Davis rolls. I don't know if we can save this road or not. But these guys have their orders, so they are going to follow those orders. So I want to do this brigade first. I got to look up an order quick. Okay. All right, so I know where he has to try to get to follow his orders. So again, this we kind of messed up on a little bit because I was told on the forums that you can't give an order like move here, deploy, and then move up onto the ridge, right? Which is what they're trying to do here. But the guys in the forums said at that point just do that as an attack order now, which is why he's been rolling fluke stoppage. So let's see, what can we do here? Well, 76th New York is going to make a facing change for 1. And he's going to go 2. And he's going to fire at the 42nd Mississippi right here. So let's go over the chart. And they are at 2 hex range, so a 5 or 6 on their opening volley. Man, this is just brutal. So decrease. We got to roll for John Burns here. Oh, he's all right, doing better than he did historically. All right, so now we're going to fire with 6 strength points. I don't think the woods does anything because you're not... Terrain doesn't seem to affect shooting a lot in this game, so I hope I'm doing that right. We got 6 strength points. We're 2 hexes away, so that's going to shift us to the 4 to 5. The rifles, they don't have anything special. We're not firing in the rear. Protective terrain is things like walls, rock ledges, sunken rolls, trenches, boulders, breastworks. So, no. So we're in the 4 to 5 column. Oh, my word, a 9. That's going to be a loss. So decrease strength. Mark these guys fired. And we got to make a morale check on a C with no modifiers, right? Because there's none of these apply. All right, so it's a straight up C roll. A 6, they are good, so they just hold their ground. All right, so they're done. You move this over. I'm going to zoom in a little bit because it's kind of nice to be close up. So this is our area of action right here. Now, this is a 7 versus a 5. What do we got here? That's a 5 with a leader. We could use Cutler and try to really shove. Just trying to think of how I want to do this. Thinking I might want to move up here and shove and then try to charge. I think I'm going to do that. We're going to use Cutler because he has a, I always forget which one it is. I think the first number is your command value, right? Yeah, command value and morale value. And we want to use that morale value for on the, I think he used that in the where's the charge stuff? Oh, yeah. Oh, that's the morale table. Target leaders morale. I thought there was a thing on the. Why am I lost? I haven't done much for charging yet. It's got to be right here, right? So these are additional Oh yeah, for charges. So you do use the leaders in the charge. You use the leaders. So I want to do that. So these guys are going to go 1. Oops. 1. 2. They're going to try to make their closing roll right here. Okay, so closing roll. Where's right here? +1 for 2 or better morale leader, so he gives a +1 for that. And they are a C. They're a C. So they're a C, so they're going to be a 4+. So it's going to be a 3+. They made it. So it was 1, 2, 3. Now he's going to try to close again. If he fails, he can still shoot. So he made it because it's normally a 4+. He needed a 3+ because of Cutler. So now they get to do opening volley. So at charge range, it's a 1 or 2 misses. 6 does some good damage. So they do standard 1. So decrease embedded strength. We don't make morale checks, but you do make a leader check. 5 is going to be good because it's only 2 through 10, but now during the charge it could change. So now we figure out the charge. Morale. Okay, so... Oh, wait, okay, so charge sequence, open volley, defender takes 1 strength point loss and checks for leader loss, which they don't have a leader, so they automatically take a strength loss. Unless attacker is small or breastworks, no. With the attacker coming from the front, if either of those are true, then no defender loss or leader loss. Defender makes a morale check using the additional charge modifiers. Okay, so now he makes a morale check. He's on the B. This is where Cutler, it says you use that in morale. So he gives a +2, which is bad for them. They're not shaken or disorganized, not wrecked, not rear, not small, no cowardly legs, no knight. So it's just the +2 because of Cutler waving his banner around. We are 4 to 4, so we're about the same, so we get another +1 for that, so it's a +3. Yeah, right here it says plus value attacking leaders morale. So they get a +3 on the B column. Oof. A 10. It's going to be a 13, so they're disorganized, back 4, lose 2. All right, so lower morale to disorganized. Holy moly. So B, and let's say 13, so disorganized, back 4, lose 2. So 1, 2, 3. They're right here, so let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then he loses 2. Oh, he wrecked him. And we got to put a cowardly legs here. And but there's no one else to charge because I should have came in from this way, but who knew? Well, you can't cross this anyway because you can only charge forward. So do I want to take that hex? Because it was 1 to change, 2, 3 to move here, and you don't have to make a check anyway, so that'd be 4. I don't like how the cowardly legs thing makes the stack shift. And he can't change facing, and he couldn't anyway because there's a red line here, but you have to just charge straight forward. So we'll leave that there for now. Cowardly legs. I don't like how it makes that thing center off like that. That kills my OCD. All right, now we got this feller here. I'm thinking what we might want to do is do a little charge up here and try to hit these guys and see what happens. So let's give her a shot. They're a B. They're not so bad. They got 7. So let's give her a shot. Let's go 1, 2. We got to make her closing roll. And they're a B, so it's a 3+. There's no leader modifiers, no other problems. So 1. You guys stink. They can fire because they only move 2. And these guys wouldn't block line of sight because they're on a higher ground here and a lower ground, and there's a path open here. So they're just going to fire. Now the good news is they can't opening volley, but if these guys would have been on the ridge here, they can one of them could fire an opening volley, but there's nobody that has. So that wasn't even paying attention, but that works out okay. So let's go do that. All right, so we start out at 7, so 6 to 8. We're going to have the 1 shift for range. And we're not... That does not count as firing on the rear. You have to actually be... because you have to fire like this straight across, basically. You don't get to do your line of sight from here. You can see them from over here, but you fire kind of from the center to center is my understanding. So it's just going to be the 4 to 5 column. No other issues. And we rolled a 5, so that's a wasted opportunity. So fired. My goodness. We had an opportunity to blow this whole flank out a little bit. Create some havoc. So they fired, nothing happened. They fired, they did some good. I seem to get a lot of mixed results with my brigades. Wondering if these guys are going to boom here and move up to here and then just take a blast. I think we'll do that. So we're going to go 1. Now, if you can't see them, you don't make the closing roll. So unless I charge, and that's a B morale unit, so not likely we'll do too much. So if I go 1, 2... Or do I want to back up and blast this guy and wreck him? 1. You know what? I'll go 2. Oops, wrong one. And then I'll go 3 because I don't have to. And so now I can decide to charge him if I wanted to. But he's going to have the help of Heath there. I think I'll just shoot. Now, the bad news is when you do that, you get this little 2-strength guy has the same strength as anybody else that's shooting, I think, on an opening volley, because the only modifiers are right for canister, left for wrecked units, and they are not wrecked yet. So we'll just go with it. Okay, so we're going to do that. So opening volley, 1 hex range is 50-50. They missed. So now the 95th New York is a 5, and there's no modifiers for range, so it's just on the 4 to 5 column because they're rifled, so I need a 6 or better. A 7 is going to just be a morale check. Darn, I really wanted to get one more loss. All right, so they're a B morale, but they got -2 for the leader with them. I think that's it. Are they small? They are small. So that's a +1. There's the cowardly legs is over here, so it doesn't affect it. So it's just going to be a -1 because of Archer, because he's a -2 and then a +1 for small. An 8 is a 7. They're a B. Oh, they're okay. All right, so they're okay. Darn it. So they fired. Just not getting the push. I'm thinking we're going to do something similar with this guy here. Although he's not wrecked yet either. I could try to wreck him. I'm not going to do that, though, because I do have orders. So they're going to go 1, 2, and then I have to do this for 3. Otherwise, if I turn and then move up on the ridge, then I can't fire. So same thing. They get a closing roll. 50-50. That is getting, let's just make sure. Closing roll. Oh, wait a minute. No, not the closing. It's not a closing roll. Opening volley. Yep, it's only for column shifts or wrecked units. So he missed at range 1. It was a 50-50 chance. So this guy over here, what am I doing? He's on the 6 to 8 column. There's no other modifiers because he's rifled. And he's at range 1. So we need a 5 or better. Wait, we are just really, could we just not hurt that guy at all? So it's going to be a morale check again, and it's going to be a total of -1. And he was, what, a B? Yeah. So a 6, so he's golden. He's just hanging on. Those little guys are not afraid. All right, so he fired. Okay, so I moved these guys in because these guys have orders they're following. Now I can't really fire the artillery because everybody ran away. We got some artillery here. These guys are all hiding, and that's just too far to blast away if I could even see them. So I guess the artillery will just sit there. We're now going to move Meredith, who's still in at the double. Okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And he can change facing freely. Now the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do I want to? Well, I don't want to move next to the enemy and column. All right, so here's where the column ends up, right? And this matters because we're going to try to get guys in a line. So that's 8 movement points. We've moved 8. Then this would go 9, 10 to pull this in. And then they can deploy for 11. And these guys would be moving along 8, 9, 10, 11. And so this tail is here. So these guys all have a movement of 8. Okay? Let's do this. Decrease Alt Q. I'm putting this here because I want to remember whenever these units here are moving, they've already moved 8. So he was there, so it'd be 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 to move that in there, so it's gone, and 1 to deploy. He has 16 because of the at the double rule, which lets him get on here and get deployed quickly. I do have to look at his orders quick. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, so he's got a very long tail, which is now 3 behind him, basically, right? So 12, 13, 14, 15. And he would have been facing this way, and for his last move, he can deploy. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. He's got one tail here, so he needs to pull that in for the 15th one, and then deploy for the 16th one. Hope that makes sense. I hope you're following along there. This guy is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or no, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. He's got to stop here because then it costs 3, so that's 12, 13, 14, 15. He'd be facing this way with his tail now pulled. So basically, the column is marching up in to form a line. That's what it's doing. So he would use 16 movement points because he has to get rid of these. And so that's where he ends up. And Meredith, we didn't have to move with this guy. He could move independently, so we don't want him, he's a good one. We don't really want to lose him. We want to try to keep his brigade in command. Okay, so let's get rid of this thing. All right, so they couldn't do any firing because they moved more than half, and Cutler failed. Let's get rid of this. This doesn't affect anything now so Cutler had an opportunity to really wreck Davis a little bit, and even a little bit of Archer. We could have totally taken him out of the game probably, but we did not. So mixed emotions. The Iron Brigade is now deployed. They have their orders. Cutler has his orders. So now let's go move some dudes up here. All right, so these guys have their orders. Their first corps, Reynolds, Stewart, and so they can move at the double. We don't. All right, so let's move them up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, because they want to stay away from those. All right, and then these guys will just go behind it. Oops. All right, so this artillery's moving up there to get into place as per ordered. Howard, he can move 24 squares, so let's move him. Is he on an 8? Yeah, he is. So basically, you can just go, that's 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24. So he's moving up the road. These guys have their orders. They can have the double. Doesn't matter when you're on the road. You're already at the doubling. Let me double check their orders just to make sure there was nothing special. That's the rebels. That wouldn't help them. I had looked it up before, but then I had the fluke stoppage thing. Their orders to make sure. Yes. Okay. So they're going to move up this road. So we're going to grab Robinson and Paul, and then Paul's and Baxter's brigade. So let's just put Robinson and Paul together. And let's grab a unit here. So that puts them here. That's the nice little 8s they got. So I'll need a space there. Put that there. I'll need a space there. Put that there. I need 2 spaces. Put this here. I'll need a space. And here I'll need a space. I'll put the tails on in a sec. And then we'll grab Baxter. That's 1. Put him there. It's every 3, so all of these will have a tail on them. And so these guys are still coming in on the road here. Okay, so let's go grab the road columns. Oops. Bonk, bonk. So here they come. It's one of my favorite parts about Gettysburg, probably a lot of other people, is how the reinforcements are flowing in. I think most Gettysburg games are actually easier to learn the rule because in the beginning you're not messing with as much stuff. So by the time you get to where there's tons of stuff on the field, you're doing lots of stuff. This guy, let's move these guys first. I don't think they'll hit him, but so he's got his orders. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's on this little thing. He can move double. Pretty sure. Better make sure. My not overview. Charts. No, that's a trail. Am I doing that wrong? Nope, trail. Okay. This will be like, oh man, did I do that wrong earlier? All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Because remember, his orders were he had to follow along the Willoughby Run. So let's go grab the rest of his brigade. Stinking fly bugging me. Okay. So let's boom, 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 boom. Put all these on there. Let's turn them. Ooh, we're getting better at remembering which button is which. All right. Now remember, he can't. I put on here Noble double quick, so he's moving double quick because he's on the road, but he can't like cut across this land here at the double quick. So okay. And then let's move Stone. I think that's it then, because these guys all move. So let's move Stone. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Grab all this. Oh, wait a second. All right, that's going to mess things up a little bit because that stupid Ford is going to mess stuff up maybe. So that would be 1, 2, or no, 1.5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, he drops back 2 because he's got to get through that Ford. This would be 1. It's 1 for the Ford, so 2.5, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So he actually has to stay back here to get his tail caught up. And then these guys can fall in behind because all right. So I think that's right because they can't, the Ford costs extra and there's this hex and this hex side, which not everyone had to go through. So they're getting a little ahead, but that's fine. So that is it, I think, for the Union. Let's go make sure everybody moved. There's nobody else coming on any other roads. We got Howard moved up. This is starting to get a little interesting with Raleigh coming up here on the Fairfield Road. We're getting some artillery. We're fighting to defend this area. So it's getting a little dicey. So thanks for joining me. I always feel like the last activation's done, and I gotta get in the habit here. So movement combat. So rally. So we're gonna take off all the moves. We're going to remove fire, we only had one cowardly legs, but I'll make sure. Remove the fired markers. And USA rally just in case, when the board gets busy. No loss recovery, so that's it. So this is where we're at. The next phase, Archer's going to push back a little bit. I mean, here we have some opportunity where he gets to fire without getting fired on, so we'll probably take advantage of that. These guys got to change their facing. We can see about pushing through the woods here, possibly. These guys are out of it. Well, they're wrecked, so they're definitely out of it. So I think we have, 2 wrecked units now for the Confederates. So we're getting pretty close to this attack petering out because there's just too much going on, but we give it a good shot. You never know if you get lucky and start routing some Union guys or disorder them or get some shots in. So we're going to continue to push and try to get to Lee Lane. It's getting pretty rough, but we will give it a shot and see what happens. I also want to look up some rules and make sure that I'm allowed to swing around this way. I don't think I'm restricted to that. But as we attack and he comes down, he might want to shift out a little bit. So I got to make sure there's no restriction on how far east I can go. I know my objectives is this, right? That if I can capture that unlocks some good stuff. But Archer's done. He can fire. And the next turn they're going to get blazed away at, and they're going to start leaving. Which means Davis has about a turn, maybe 2, to push that attack, and then we're probably going to have to call it off, fall back here, regroup for the when we can do our late afternoon attack when Lee finally gets here. But I'll do some reading on that. That'll be fun to read. And so that's it. All right. Thanks for joining me. Have a good night.